Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan. How are we doing today, Dylan?
Doing well. Doing well. It's Wednesday.
Hump day, middle of the week. So since we recorded our last podcast, you and I, Blackhawks have not won a single game. It's been a very rough stretch. Not a lot of offense. As a matter of fact, last night was the first time that they scored more than one goal in regulation since they played Anaheim like a couple weeks ago. So things aren't going well, and it's not as if the Blackhawks are getting blown out. They just can't bloody score. They've gone great goaltending, whether that's Peter Mrazek, Arvid Soderblom is having an amazing bounce back year so far. I mean, the defense, well, not amazing. I can't even say it's bad, but the offense, yeah, it's not getting it done. Connor Bedard did look better last night playing with Jason Dickinson, but just like the rest of the offense just looked lost, can't really generate anything. And it just to me, like there's four things. Here's how I see it. So Frank Nazar down in Rockford is tearing it up right now. I believe he had 2 goals last night against the Texas Stars. That was a big win for the Ice Hogs because Ice Hogs aren't doing so great either. But there's a lot of young players down there that have been showing some promise. But then you think, oh, well, Frank Nazar, we don't want to bring him up to the team. You know, we don't want to put him into this losing culture. And then I think, okay, if you don't want to bring up Nazar, then make a trade for a forward. But who is wanting to trade away a forward right now, unless you're trading like, I don't know, mid round pick for a UFA? But you're not doing that if you're Kyle Davidson. If you're trading for a forward, you got to get a young forward. And we'll kind of touch more on that later. If you don't want to make a trade now, don't want to trade your assets, young players, well, then you wait till free agency and, make the big splash. But, none of that's going to happen right now. I see it this way. The Lions, not only like in the case of Luke Richardson, just leave them alone. Like there's been so much tinkering with the Lions. After every loss, there's tinkering with the Lions, and I get it. You want to find the proper chemistry, but you got to give them some time to figure it out. Like, why did you pay Bertuzzi and Table all this money if you're just gonna like shift them around, play them in the bottom six? I don't know. I'm rambling on too much. I just wish I mean Dickinson and Bedard did work last night, but I just wish you pay the players that you paid all that money to, Bertuzzi, Tavo, put them on the first line, put them with Bedard, let them figure it out. You have so many games left in the season. You're not getting fired anytime soon. Just let the Lions be as they be. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I think there's a lot of frustration right now, and rightfully so.
Um, yeah, I think the frustration stems from the fact that they're playing better 5-on-5 defensively, but the style of hockey that they're playing is allowing them. They just don't have the offensive talent to play the type of offense that they want to play. They're trying to play this grind away, get the puck to the defenseman, get the puck on net. They do not have a single offensive defenseman on this roster. Like Vlasic, I wouldn't even count as one.
No.
It's not a way that this offense should be structured. The offense should be structured around creating space for like 2 or 3 guys, and they're not doing that right now. I think it's an indictment on the team if Frank Nazar is not on by the Winter Classic. Like it's not even about development at this point. Frank Nazar looks like he shouldn't be in the AHL. He's over a point a game. He's been white hot the last 2-3 weeks now. He would fit an immediate void in this roster, which is they can't get a second offensive play driver going because at the end of the day, they have a bunch of complementary pieces. There's like Kurashev's not driving a line. Reichel's not driving a line. Taylor Hall can't drive a line anymore. This is the problem that arises. Like if I had the power, if I could put the roster the way I'd like it, it would be Bedard on the left wing, Dickinson in the middle, Teravainen on the right, and then you would do the second line of Bertuzzi, Nazar, and either Kurashev or Hall, depending on how you feel that day, or even Donato, honestly. And then you let the rest of the roster stack out from there. But I don't know. Coach is kind of losing his mind. And the decisions he's making to try to change that do not give me any promise. And it's the hand he's been dealt, but at the same time, you can play a better hand. He's very hell-bent on his power play structure. Power play has not done a effing thing the last probably 3 weeks. That needs to change, but nope, we're just going to continue to, put the same guys out. It's like trying to fit a square peg in the round hole and expecting it to work. It's whatever. You know, and it shows on the ice. You know, Bedard hasn't scored in almost 3 weeks now. He's got no confidence to shoot the puck because no one will get him the puck when he's open because there's no one that's capable of getting him the puck. And this is something that I screamed about as soon as we drafted Bedard, and I got backlash because people are like, no, you have to do this the right way. No, doing it the right way is making sure your generational prospect doesn't get pissed off in year 2, which is what this is leading to right now. I don't know. Keeps playing out the way it does. It's not the situation that I want them to be in going into a contract year with Bedard. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Because he's got.
Sorry, you gonna say something? Yeah.
No, he's got no fucking reason to sign 8 years here. There's no reason. There's no reason unless you overpay. Just being honest. Like if I'm him, I'm bridging. Fuck this shit. Why should I strap my rocket to a team that is not doing anything to help me on the ice on a nightly basis? They're not. I don't care what you say. I don't care what they signed. I don't care what they did. They're not helping him on the ice, period. Like, and yeah, I get it. Sophomore slumps. Lucas Raymond had one. He had like 80 points last year. It does not fucking matter. It does not fucking matter. You have one fucking priority on this team right now. It is making sure that kid develops and is happy and is ready to rock. I do not give a shit about the rest of this roster. And I don't think the management should either, as bad as that sounds. None of these guys are going to be here in 3 years that are on this team. Period. Outside of 98. It's just what it is. I mean, obviously Bertuzzi will because he's got a contract and Jones got a contract, but I'm talking like there are not any core pieces on this roster, so there's no reason you should be tied to playing some guys in the top 6 like he is. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. I'm sorry. It really is. And you can and like I was the person that was like, oh, they keep losing 1-goal games. Whatever. Like I'm over that at this point. Like you're just basically every 1-goal loss they have where they just look like shit in the third period like they did last night. That's the stuff that sticks with you. And we saw it with the last regime, and we're watching it again. They're building bad habits again, and that's due to the people that they're putting on the ice. And that stems back to management. Once again, Kyle Davidson needs to figure it the F out this offseason, or else we are going to be in a situation where we're going to be like Buffalo. And that's not the situation you want to be in, where they have all this talent and they can't put it together because there's no cohesiveness on the main roster. And they're still struggling with that. That's been a thing for 5 years now. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, there's not a lot of things to be positive about this team right now, honestly. And, you know, all the fucking tank people that are like, we're going to get a top 3 pick. This is great. We're the worst team in the league. I'm so over that mindset. It's ridiculous. A top 3 pick is not going to magically fix this team as much as people think it will. Yeah, they need a second elite forward in the system. Who's to say the guy they draft is going to be elite? It's all magic beans at the end of the day. And yeah, Columbus is looking real stupid right now because they should have just taken that trade because they would have had the number 1 pick this year. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think like last podcast I said, well, I'm good with the process. Like it seems like they're in a lot of games, like, but at like what point is it just you just suck? Like you would think, okay, you're in all these 1-goal games. A few of these times you got to break through, and then it's just like you keep losing the 1-goal games. At what point do you just suck now? And they suck, and it's frustrating because you do want to see them step forward again, not fighting for a playoff spot, but you want to see some difference. And they're legit. I think there was that after that first month. I felt like really good coming out of that road trip when they won those back-to-back games against LA and Anaheim, and just the offense is just completely cratered. Like with Bedard, I always think of that one SpongeBob episode where where SpongeBob, loses his mind because Bubble Bass said there's no pickles on his sandwich, even though he's hiding it under the tongue the whole time. And she's like, we got to get your confidence back, SpongeBob. And like, that's what I feel like that with Bedard right now. Like his confidence is just shot. He's not shooting the puck. He's just overthinking way too much. I mean, last night he was making some nice plays, which is good. You want to see that. But at the best, like ideally, you have Connor Bedard just ripping the puck from anywhere and being able to score. And he hasn't done that. And like it's gonna happen soon. There's no way he keeps shooting at 5%, but also like what are the odds it's a season where he just doesn't get that many goals, and it sucks. It's frustrating to see him, break a stick every time he misses something. It's just I want to see again. I just want to see like just keep the lines how they are. Like it must be so frustrating for everyone just being on different lines every other day. Um, yeah, like they're gonna have to address this. They're gonna have to make moves for forwards because this is just it's not good enough. And as much as I like Bertuzzi and Tabo as signings, like I still think they have a lot more to give, and they would tell you like they've got off to a bad start. Like they need more play drivers that could be Frank Nazards, and they just need more pure goal scorers, like guys that will just shoot the puck, and they have that in the system, but you don't have that now. And I just like wonder, like again, you don't want to just trade for the sake of making trades, but all these draft picks you've gotten, especially all these seconds, all these thirds, what did you get them for? Yes, you're going to draft some players, but also at some point you got to trade them for guys. Okay, you're not maybe getting superstars, but you're getting young guys like Trevor Zegras. They should have just left him in Chicago. Like you shouldn't have gone and play in Anaheim. Like you should just stay in Chicago. Those are the type of guys you need to take chances on. And it sounds like Zegras isn't doing well in Chicago. Or in Anaheim. I doubt you're gonna have to trade away a first round pick to get a Trevor Zegras. Like if you gotta trade a second, like get it done. Take a chance on the potential. Yeah, it's frustrating. The goaltending is good. Can't fault that.
Soderblom's been great. You're
yeah.
like you said it earlier. He's probably the brightest spot on this team outside of Vlasic and Bedard. 100%. And I like this is what I'm talking about. Like I'm looking at their roster right now. I'm looking at the stats this year. Your fourth leading scorer is 9 points. You're not going to win hockey games. Period. No. Your two biggest signings this offseason have 9 and 19 and 6 and 19. Philip Kurashev, who like we were already questioning what was Bedard the straw that stirred the drink. He's got 4 points in 18 games.
Ugh.
In a contract year. Nice job, bud. Nice job. Literally losing millions of dollars every time you step on the ice. Great job. Taylor Hall, 6 points in 18 games. Dog water.
Wants to stay here, apparently.
What's the Frank Fleming thing where it's just like Marte, F, C minus. C minus. That's literally what the Blackhawks are this year. It's fucking ridiculous. So Ryan Donato's your second leading scorer. It's just not going to cut it. It's just not going to cut it. Like it's a great story. Like I love Ryan Donato's game, but that he should never be your second leading scorer ever. Oh my God, I would trade for Trevor Zegras yesterday. Rosters like the people saying that it would mess up the way the roster is going to be constructed in 3 years. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? That is a problem for 3 years down the line. The problem right now is there's no one that can keep up with Bedard's brain. The closest thing on the market that can do that is Trevor Zegras.
What do you do? Like, I wish they just keep Tavo. Yeah. Sorry?
I was like, I get it. You're not going to overpay, but there was a time where he was very accessible and you chose not to go get a player like that. There's a time there's guys out there to go get. Morgan Frost gets scratched every other game, and that guy put up almost 50 points last year. Like you need someone like that on the roster that has an offensive pulse and can keep up with Bedard. Like I don't think that's too much to ask for, but apparently it is. And it's crazy because like Bedard's having statistically the worst year of his life, and he's still on pace to be like top 20 for 19-year-olds ever in a season.
Oh, and by the way, all the people calling Bedard a bust, like, give your head a shake. Like, he's played 87 games. Most of them as an 18-year-old with no help, has 76 points in those 87 games. Like, I feel like the temperature is completely different if Bedard has 3 more goals. If Bedard scored in those close 1-goal games.
He has 7 goals and 10 assists. No one cares.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fact that he only has 3 goals in 19 games and his shooting percentage is just low. Like, if he's
still on pace for 60 assists.
Yeah, it's like if he even has 5 or 6 goals and he has like 17, 18 points in 19 games, like no one else. Like, there's not that to say. But It's that the team is doing bad and Bedard is doing bad, I think, is the huge problem here, because that's your guy. You said it. Like, that's your number one franchise guy.
Well, here's a way to get off the schneid, because they're playing Florida tomorrow night, and he scored against both their goalies last time, and it was very good. I need Bedard to go on one of those streaks that he went on in November last year, where he just gets 6 and 5 or something, because that's the type of thing that one gets the offense going, because that means other people are getting him the puck. Like, I think one of the assists he had against I don't even remember what team it was, but I think it was Dallas, where Donato just did like a spinorama backhand, which basically got Bedard the puck in space, which is the thing that this team does not know how to do. That should be the goal in practice right now. Find the areas where you can get this kid the puck in space, because he is going to get smothered. Like, that's just what it is. He is playing against the top assignment
team
every
zero
single
in
night.
Everyone knows he's the best player on that team.
Yes. 100%, and that's why it's an indictment on the management to not get anyone that's at least somewhat on that level. And there's going to be names available, whether it's at the deadline, whether it's this offseason, and it's a shame on the Hawks organization if they don't try to capitalize on that stuff. Plain and simple. There's going to be names out there to be had, and if your name's not in the mix, it's a real damn. Like, the fact that the beat writers are dropping articles saying Luke Richardson's job security is really good, that's concerning. Like, I don't care how long of a development you want for this team, dude. If he can't get 98 going, he's not the guy. That's just what it is. I don't care what he's done structurally. I don't care what he's done to get the boys riled up every night. Doesn't work on the ice, first of all. Like, yeah, they play good. They play suffocating hockey, which is great. You're the New York,
but on both ends, like, you're a black hole on both ends. Yeah,
whatever. I don't know. I'm not trying to bag on Luke Richardson, but it's also just like, dude, you have one fucking job right now. You have one job, and it's just to make sure this kid develops at the rate that we all know he's capable of developing at. Whatever. 2025, 2026 is going to be a huge fraud watch here for these two, for the GM and the head coach, because your prospects should start coming in at that point for the GM, and the coach is going to have legit talent on the roster, so you have no excuse anymore. Because I'm not hearing the talent excuse after this year. I'm just not. They have the cap to go get people. They have the assets to go get people. They're just choosing not to at this point. Plain and simple.
Yeah, it's just, even like what I said earlier, you got all these second round picks. You even got 2 first round picks. I don't expect them to trade their first, but like, come on. Got all these seconds for a reason. If you like swing and miss and like it doesn't work out, if a Trevor Zegras doesn't work out, if like even another name I saw reading like Daily Faceoff's top trade targets early on, like Joel Farabee, like if you swing and miss on that, like whatever, you still got second round picks to work with. And like, yeah, I think they got to call up Nazar. You at least got to give him a shot, see what you got there. And again, once it gets closer to the deadline, like, it's gonna solidify. You're gonna know which teams are bad, which players are gonna be out there. But yeah, it's just frustrating right now that we're gonna have to go through like another 60 plus games of this. It's just Connor Bedard. You need to get him going. Like, he looked way better last night at the puck. I feel like he reached like the lowest point in that game against Vancouver, where honestly he like just looked almost nervous, like playing in front of like all his family in Vancouver. And it's weird to see, because usually Connor Bedard thrives under pressure, but like, again, just overthinking it with the puck. But last night he was making some plays. I just need to see one goal going, because I feel with him, like, it's a rising tide lifts all boats. Once he's going, everyone else is going. But then also it's like you're relying on a 19-year-old to get your team going. You need more help for him.
Yeah, 100%. And, I'm going to be the guy that says it. Like I've said since the night we won the draft lottery, Mitch Marner is going to be a free agent most likely. And he's got 24 and 19, and he's playing some of the best hockey he's played in his whole career. You cannot tell me that wouldn't help Connor Bedard get his shooting going, putting one of the best playmakers in the game with him.
But he's touching the playoffs. Let's worry about getting to the playoffs first. Like,
literally, like, keep seeing articles about friggin' Brady Tkachuk losing. Like, everyone's complaining about him. God, I will take him in a fucking heartbeat. I will literally trade our pick if it's not top 3 for him. I do not care. Oh my God, I would trade it in a heartbeat. Fuck that. Like, pick 5 or Brady Tkachuk. Yeah, I'll take Brady Tkachuk any day of the week. any day of the week. That's the exact kind of player Connor Bedard needs. Someone that's going to create space for him, allow him to play his game, and on top of that, literally just be a menace that allows Bedard to start picking corners because he'll just go to the net every time. There's two routes you can go, and obviously those are just the top players. Like there's more down there, like the secondary players that you can go get, but like that's the kind of stuff you need to go look for to make. Like those are the kind of trades that you should be looking around. And if you're not, then what are we doing? Also, Matthew Shane has 21 points in 17 games. What the hell is this season? Oh, Lord.
He would have been nice as a Blackhawk. And I've been doing a lot of looking at the Caps because I'm just like so fascinated by how their season has gone so far. And I can't just help but think I don't think Strome was ever going to stay in Chicago just because this new regime, that's not like the style of play that they want. But I can't help but think, well, how much would a Dylan Strome help this team right now?
They need the Dylan Strome trade. That's what they need. They need
that's
to
a really good point. Yeah.
They need to trade a Kurashev or a Reichel and go get a struggling piece that can bounce back on this roster. You just got to find the right one. And I keep going back to Trevor Zegras, or Morgan Frost, but those are the players that come up in my mind because those are players that aren't getting ice time. Hell, even take a swing on an Arthur Kaliev or something. You know what I mean? Like any
Alex Turcotte. Yeah.
Oh God, just take a chance. Stop sitting on your hands. All right, I'm done complaining about the Blackhawks.
Yeah. All right, what do we want to move on to here? Do we want to talk about Jim Montgomery being fired? We'll talk about another original 6 team sucking.
Yeah, probably one of the most. We've seen twice in a calendar year someone who's been one of the most winningest coaches in franchise history get fired. So, don't know if that's an indictment on the league. I don't know. This is just where sports has come to. Of course, coaches have such a short leash now.
It's in every sport too. Yeah, like it's not just hockey.
Football,
it's the easiest
baseball.
piece to move. Yeah.
Yep. You win 65 games one year, and then the next year, 2 years later, you're out of a job. It's I don't know. Like I think we've said it for a couple years, and like 3 years ago, I wouldn't have this opinion, but Don Sweeney has made some moves that are you can't fix them right now at Boston. Like that's Don Sweeney's mess. Go ahead and finger point all you want, but you're the one who constructed that roster. You're the one who extended those players. You're the one who spent that money in free agency on those specific pieces, and you got no one to blame but yourself. But it's okay. Boston's turning into a boys' club, so this is better for the league.
Yeah, man, 41 regulation losses in a quarter season that you've coached with the Bruins. For reference, the Blackhawks, I think, lost 53 regulation games last year. They did this with Claude Julien, fired him, even though he got him a cup, and the Bruins had been a great regular season team. I think they won the President's Trophy. Bring in Bruce Cassidy, and that seemed to fix things, and then they lose, I think, in the first round, and then Cassidy gets fired in his own house or whatever it was. And he brought them to to game 7 of the Stanley Cup final. And then Jim Montgomery comes in 65-win season. I would even argue last year did a more impressive job with the team. Like I think they almost won 50 games again, and then just a poor start, and you're out of there. Like a crazy winning percentage, but you're out of a job. I have no doubt in my mind with how quickly things get recycled, like coaches get recycled. Like he's gonna find a job and he's gonna do amazing. I mean, look what Bruce Cassidy did, literally won the cup with Vegas the next year after Sweeney canned him. And I think we've been big Sweeney supporters, like what the Bruins have done, and it's easy to kind of look at it with like rosy colored glasses to see the good stuff that Sweeney has done. The Bruins always do take risks at like the trade, like they make the big trade at the trade deadline, they lock those players up. But and then when you keep doing that, like you sign Elias Lindholm to a big 7-year contract and he's not paying off. Dorov has been great either, and you have an older team and don't have much in the pipeline. That's all going to catch up to you. So, yeah, what's the saying? Like I forget what ingredient. I kept seeing it on Twitter. It's like you can't blame like the chef for like the ingredients he been brought is what I was trying to say. I don't know why I was blanking
Oh,
out on that.
100%.
And
Can't
that's the
blame.
case with Montgomery. Yeah.
It's the story of what we see with a lot of teams. You're seeing it with Pittsburgh right now. You kick the can down the road so many years and try to compete and try to win a Stanley Cup, and you don't do it over and over again, which has been the case with this Boston regime since they've gotten Pastrnak and McAvoy. They've had their deep runs, they've made it to a cup final, and they haven't won. And now you're seeing the punishment of that, which is why it's so pivotal that teams like Edmonton and Toronto and teams like Carolina, like they need to get over the hump or you're going to be in this situation. Carolina, I think, lucked out with the way Marty Natchez is performing, but
Yeah.
you get what I mean. Like it's like you have all these pieces now and it's an older roster. You have some major surgeries that have been done to good players on that roster. And on top of that, your goalie didn't have a training camp. Like, this is what's going to happen.
You bring that up. Okay. Every time a coach gets fired, show me a bad coach.
goalie.
I'll show you a bad goalie. I want to read something from Sportsnet stats here. Team save percentages at the time of a coach's midseason firing since 2023-24. So this is within the last year. Oilers, 864, Jade Woodcroft. Wild, 872, Dean Evison. Devils, 882, Lindy Ruff. Bruins this year, 883, Montgomery. The Senators last year, 886, DJ Smith, LOL. Kings, 906, McClellan.
Sounds
That's the
bad,
highest
lol.
one. Yeah. Blues 901 with Berube, and then the Islanders 904 with Brad Lambert. And another thing. So the three finalists for the Jack Adams in 22-23 have all been fired from their team. So that's just another example of the Jack Adams curse. Crazy.
Yeah. It's a story as old. It's a tale as old as time, for being honest. Unless you're the Blackhawks and it's just a power struggle, but that's different. It's so true, though. It's so true. Every time there's a bad goalie or just bad goaltending in general, the coach usually bites the bullet on it. Hell, I'll even go as far as to say that's why Toronto got canned to an extent. Like Sheldon Keefe. Like, obviously, his is playoff success more, but he also didn't have a fucking goalie for 3 years. Like, this is the problem. Like, you need to have an elite goalie in the NHL, or at least a tandem that you can trust every night. And I think
it looks like they got now, funny enough, with Keefe gone.
Yeah, dude. Like, freaking, this is what you need in the NHL today. Like, you don't need a guy who can play 60 games. You need a guy who can play 45 and a guy who can play 35 or 40. And not a lot of teams have that right now. I think the Hawks are pretty beneficial to have probably 3 goalies once Brossoit comes back that can, produce.
Brossoit is dead. You know the meme of like it's Paul McCartney.
Brossoit is dead. That's the title.
He's just dead. Yeah, have you seen the video of Paul McCartney performing "Live and Let Die" live? And it's just like when he says "Live and Let Die," and then does like a bunch of like fireworks on the stage, just go. And it's like Paul McCartney fucking dies performing live. That's Laurent Brossoit right now. He just fucking died.
Yo.
Yeah, but honestly, at this rate for the Blackhawks, it's like it's fine with how Soderblom and Mrazek's been playing, but. Yeah, just looking at the list of the coaches that have been fired in the past, like, really even just season, I would say last few years has been crazy. Like, I'm pretty sure Luke Richardson is at least in the top 10. I want to look that up and confirm that. It's like John Cooper, by far, this is the longest tenured coach in the NHL. He was hired in like 2013. And I think it's Bednar in Colorado and then Brendan Moore in Carolina. And I think that's it for coaches that have been with their team like since before COVID. It is crazy. Longest tenured NHL coaches. Yeah, so John Cooper has been with Tampa Bay since 2013.
Fire him.
Yeah, bring him to Chicago. Mike Sullivan has been with Pittsburgh since 2015, and apparently he's like, from what I've like been reading, like he's secure in his job. Dubas doesn't want to fire him. Jared Bednar, summer 2016. Rod Benmore, May 2018. And then 4-year gap, Marty St. Louis is the 5th longest tenured head coach. And he's only been with his team for less than 3 calendar years. Then, oh my lord, yeah, it's crazy. I need to see. Luke Richardson is indeed in the top 10 already of longest tenured coaches. I think we got a question on like Luke Richardson's like, do we think he's gonna get fired? Like, we'll get into that later. But yeah, just incredibly fickle. Like from a general manager standpoint, from president of hockey ops or whatever role you're in, you can't just trade your players and then expect everything to be better. And coaches are the easiest thing to do. You're also not going to fire your general manager, or like the president of hockey ops is not going to be like, oh, we're going to fire you. Like the coach is like the middle guy and they're the scapegoat. I just feel with coaches, it's not really even a matter of like tactician anymore. It's just like, can you say the stuff the right way and get through to your players in the right way? Like, look at Vegas. They had Gerard Gallant, made the Stanley Cup final the first year, and they fired him after like I think like a mid start a couple of years later. Bring in Pete DeBoer, and I think they go to the conference final a couple of times, and then they fire him because it's not good enough. And then finally, the third try, you get Bruce Cassidy. It's just like, if you think you can win a cup and like you don't get it done within 2 years and you're not doing well, like you can just get rid of coaches like that. Even the Panthers did. The Panthers were a little different because Quenneville, obviously, what happened with him, and then Brunette took over. He did a good job, and they said, no, we want Paul Maurice, and it's worked out because they've gone to the Stanley Cup final 2 years in a row, won the cup last year, and it's because he just gets through to his players. He's a motivator. You don't really have to be a tactician heavy coach. You just got to like be able to motivate your players and say the right things to get them going. That's so crazy to me, just how fickle it is, like how volatile it is.
Yeah. So what sports has come to with coaching, you need them to be a motivator. It's not just bringing good systems in anymore. You have to be likable, you have to be coachable, and I think that's a sign, or not coachable, but you need to be adaptable and have the ability to handle different situations, because this is just the generation that's been raised differently than previous generations, and it shows in terms of the way sports has shifted, I think, and I think that comes from just not as much in hockey, but even in hockey as well. We're shifting away from a more, in hockey's terms, tight checking. Like, this is becoming a more open league. The NFL is becoming a more offensive focused league. Baseball is benefiting the hitters more. This is what the sports are shifting to. So you need to shift your coaching to that as well. You shouldn't be trying to recreate the dead puck era in a league where people are drafting 5 a game. Just my 2 cents. But the good thing is Jim Montgomery, running back, Jim Montgomery will get another job. Probably wait for the offseason to get one, but there will be openings, and he can go capitalize somewhere and be immediately successful like he was in Dallas and in Boston. I think his resume speaks for itself. Maybe he's doing toys. Maybe he's just got a shelf life.
Yeah, and he's not going to be the only head coach that's fired, because there are a lot of other teams that are under pressure. Like, is Jared Bednar going to last the year in Colorado? Like I think I read earlier, Mike Sullivan is secure in Pittsburgh, but is that really true? I don't know. Like, it's that time of year where you decide you're getting American Thanksgiving. If you're gonna make a coaching change now, you gotta pull the trigger, because like just the later, unless you're a rebuilding team, really, like if you're a team that's trying to make the playoffs, trying to win the Stanley Cup, like you gotta do that as early as possible. And the Bruins did that just a little over a month into the season, and they got Joe Sacco as the replacement. I don't know if he's gonna be like there for the rest of the year, if they're gonna go find another coach. And as much as I hate to bring up this conversation, you just wonder what team is gonna pull the trigger on hiring a Joel Quenneville, because Stan Bowman's in the fucking game. Like, at the very least, Joel Quenneville is a good coach, and I'm just curious to see which team pulls the trigger on that first. And to me, it could be the Bruins, because like I think they have a great culture within their players, but from like Cam Neely to Don Sweeney, I don't think so much, because they signed Mitchell Miller. And if they didn't have like Patrice Bergeron and all those guys, like Nick Foligno as well, to step up and say, no, we don't want this in our organization, they probably keep him. So I wouldn't put it past it Cam Neely and Don Sweet to do that. And I kind of want to read this tweet from John Scott. He says, the NHL has a problem. Former players are put into these management positions and get given the keys to the kingdom. So many of them underdeliver, but they get away with longer leash because of who they were as players and how much they are beloved by the fan base. Good players do not equal good executives, and the mystique around who they are often deflects blame. And this is not just the Bruins. He lists Cam Neely, Steve Yzerman, Rob Blake, and Brendan Shanahan. If they weren't NHL legends, they would have been fired already. Not trying to disrespect any of these guys. Like I said, they are all legends and were incredible talents. It's just unfortunate that obvious underperforming doesn't change anything. Ultimately, it's the fans of these teams that lose. Last thing I'll add, there are many former players who are doing great work as GMs and executives, and the guys I listed above have done many great things in their current roles, but sometimes change is needed, that's all. And I honestly 100% agree with that, because like I look at Detroit right now. I don't know if we're going to talk about Detroit in this episode, but if Steve Yzerman is named anyone else but Steve Yzerman, if it's like Bob Smith doing the general manager job in Detroit, maybe not fired, but very much on a hot seat right now. But I think Steve Yzerman's kind of starting to get to that, anyways. But yeah, that's hockey. It's boys' culture for sure.
Yeah, it's a boys' club. That's what ends up happening when you get complacent with being, in Boston's case, above average.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do we want to get on to Alex Ovechkin? So he was on a crazy goal scoring pace until he got hurt. What I think he went on a knee with Jack McBain, and from what I was like seeing on the timeline, everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's gonna be like out the rest of the season." It still sucks he's injured, but I saw he's out week to week, so hopefully he's back within time. But honestly, it's been so great to watch Alex Ovechkin like really turn back the clock and maybe have his best start to an NHL season ever. Like he's on pace for well over 60 goals. Like I don't even think the conversation had he been healthy and played all the games this season would have been like, oh, he's going to get Gretzky's record. It's like how much over 900 you're going to get. So it's still great to see a legend like Alex Ovechkin still going and not just limping towards that Gretzky goal record, but like on track to smash it.
Yeah, but word to the grapevine is that injury is going to keep him out a good amount of time, unfortunately. At least from what I'm hearing from Capitals people, it sounds like he broke his leg, lightly fractured his leg. He's in a boot right now on crutches.
Okay.
And I don't think they immediately say week to week and night after getting hit if it's not something bad. That's all I've known from previous memory. It sucks because he definitely was going to break it this year if he got healthy. He's leading goals as a 39-year-old, which is just fucking ridiculous. Like if you watched his first goal against Utah a couple nights ago, he literally just is wide open in the high slot. Like there's not someone within 20 feet of him. He has time to settle it, dust it off, and just fucking pick his spot right over the glove. Like he's still just an absolute menace. And I see Ovechkin get that much space, and I'm just like, can Bedard just get that once in his life? But like that's a whole
I know.
But
people just don't want to mess with Ovechkin.
Yeah, he's strong like bull. It's an awesome story to watch because he did have kind of a slower start to the year. I think he's got most of his goals in the last 10 games, which is funny. Yeah, he's got 7 in his last 5. Awesome.
Crazy.
He's the ageless wonder, man. He's the ageless wonder. And he had a couple years there where he slowed down a bit. And I think Carberry's system has got Washington to buy in. I think we talked about it in the offseason. Like, as long as they didn't regress in net, they were going to win games more than they did last year because the system was there. I just didn't have Connor McMichael on the docket to be a 40-goal scorer.
Or freaking Alexei Protas.
Alexei Protas is a dog. I knew he was going to be good, not point a game good. Like that kid, like when I'd watched Protas with Washington the last couple of years, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be like a 35-point third liner. Nope, that guy's a top 6 forward.
Dude, he's already got his career high in goals and is only 11 back of his career high in points with like 60 games left to play.
It's a fun team, dude. It's a fun team to watch. Chikrin's been a great addition to their roster. He's fit that decor very well. Same with Matt Roy when he's healthy. It's a good team out there in Washington right now. It sucks that and I think the best way to word it is like normally if Ovechkin's out week to week, their season's over. I think they're going to be fine even without.
Oh, they can hold it together. They have enough offensive pieces. Yeah.
Dubois is an afterthought, and he's actually been pretty good this year. Like, this is the beauty of having a deep roster. Like, Pierre-Luc Dubois got 12 and 18. He only has 1 goal, but, like, he's producing offensively. Connor McMichael has 12 and 18, LOL. Dylan Strome's got 28 points in 18 games.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
Just a dog. Chikrin's over half point a game. He's got 5 goals in 13 games. That's awesome. Nice. Sandin's got 10 and 18 as a defenseman. And they're getting depth scoring. Like, fucking Taylor Radish has 8 and 18. Whoa. Hate him. Sonny Milano isn't even like cracking the roster. That's how deep they are.
I forgot Sonny Milano was well.
Dude, Trevor Van Riemsdyk's half a point a game. Get excited.
Let's freaking go.
Freaking jacked to be a fan of this team right now. Trevor Van Riemsdyk jersey in the mail. Let's go.
Let's go storm the Capitol in excitement and for no other reason. Yeah, I think last podcast when we did talk about the Capitals, I talked about the risks they made to put this team together. Like, there's an alternate reality where this all could have just gone to shit. Like, the big one being Pierre-Luc Dubois. Like, you're not acquiring him in hopes of, like, oh, he's got to be 80 points this year, or else we got to buy him out and move on from it. It's like, no, this is long-term. You still got him locked up at, what is it? He still has 6 years after this, I'm pretty sure. Like, he's in a big contract. He's 26 years old. You gotta give it some time. And where he's at right now is perfectly fine. You just want that to go upwards. Like, making those great trades, like not having to move first-round picks or high prospects, getting Jake Chikrin, signing Matt Roy in free agency, how they got Logan Thompson, future Canadian Olympian Logan Thompson, I think, for a second-round pick. And then moves they've made in even like the past couple of years, like getting Rasmus Sandin from Toronto, that seemed to have worked out for them. Their first round picks, even though later have panned out, like Connor McMichael, they still have Ryan Leonard on the way, and obviously like Alexei Protas has been a beast. And they're just taking a chance on Dylan Strome. Like, it's just crazy how, like, mainly a lot of the moves that they made have like come up with some kind of risk. Like, again, this could be all complete 180 right now. They could be suck. They could be where Pittsburgh is right now, and no, they're legitimately yes.
They aren't going to be stuck.
Yes. That was it. I meant to say that with Ovechkin being out. that was not an accident. That was all on purpose. But no, it's nice to see a team. Like, I don't think they're gonna win a cup, but I think they could make like a deep playoff run because they can add. Again, they have. I don't know if Ryan Leonard's gonna join them. Like, I don't know what his plan is, but that could be a nice add to a lineup that isn't a lot of fun to play against because they have a lot of big guys that just play so mean. And Ryan Leonard, even though smaller, plays like he's 6'4" and mean.
He's 6'4" every time he steps on the ice. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
Also, Logan Thompson's 8-0.
Yeah. Yeah.
That helps things too. Oh man. But yeah. Hopefully Ovi's not out too long.
Yeah. I think they play the Penguins. I think their last game of the season is against the Penguins. Could you imagine if it came down to that? I want to look that up if that's not true.
Because Sidney Crosby's not in the playoffs.
So April 17th, last game. It is true. They play in Pittsburgh as well. I guess we'll see when we get there, though.
Heck yeah.
Speaking of crazy milestones, Connor McDavid hit 1,000 points and became the fourth fastest player in NHL history to do so. It's still crazy. He's 27 years old, and I still don't think we've seen the best from McDavid. Like, you think he got 153 points a couple of years ago. I think there's still more to give for him. He's just so good, so crazy.
Yeah, he's electric, to say the least. Mr. Thowell. What a guy.
Here's what I was thinking. You know the general manager who signed Arvid Soderblom, Stan Bowman. He's the general manager of the Edmonton Oilers now, he also traded for Connor Murphy. I'm thinking when like we're getting close to March and the Blackhawks might bring up, I don't know if they're going to bring up Lev Shunov. I don't know how that's going to go. Maybe when they sign Renzel and they know that's happening, and hopefully Laurent Brossoit comes back. How does like a Soderblom and a Connor Murphy half retained to Edmonton sound for like, I don't know, Matthew Savoy or whatever? I don't think it's kind of slim pickings there with the Oilers, but I don't think Savoy is on the team right now. But maybe maybe Matthew Savoy.
Matthew Savoy for Connor Murphy. That'd be so stupid. Oh my god. That actually
Well,
happened.
Soderblom and Murphy, like you, Soderblom.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes a little more sense, but still probably not.
Yes.
Also, like, I do think it's funny that Ryan McLeod is just like blossomed in Buffalo because of that trade. Like, guy got so much shit for that trade, and he's been a legit piece in Buffalo, which is cool. But yeah, I feel like Edmonton's kind of just they're in a situation where they just need to keep playing their game and let McDavid and Draisaitl go ballistic, and they'll be back in the 3 seed. Because I cannot see Calgary keeping this up. Dustin Wolf's been incredible, but I just don't see it happening. And if I'm being honest, like they could definitely leapfrog LA and Vegas right now. Vegas probably not, but definitely LA.
Easily.
Like Edmonton and Vancouver just need to get it together, and Pacific's wide open for them in that case. Sorry, go.
I was gonna say, that's a good game to play with American Thanksgiving coming up next week. Why don't we go through like all the teams that are in a playoff spot right now and like decide whether or not they're gonna make the playoffs or not? So the Winnipeg Jets are still 16-3-0, even if they cool off a lot. Like I expect them to make the playoffs. The Minnesota Wild are interesting to me because I still don't think like throughout their whole history, they've just been this team with like good goaltending, solid defensively, but just can't get that much offense. But I mean, Kaprizov has been incredible. Matthew Boldy is great. Like that might be enough to get them into the playoffs. But honestly, like I just feel more of the same with them. Probably first round exit because they don't have that stout center. Like Marco Rossi, I don't know what his point production is like. Maybe he could be that, but I feel they just need more. That's just me though. How good is Marco Rossi doing? I'll look that up.
I mean, Kirill Kaprizov's probably going to win the Hart Trophy if he keeps this up. So, or he's going to be a finalist at least. That's a team that literally just needed to stop pucks again, and we know Gustafsson and Fleury can do it. And
Rossi has 15 points in 18 games. Okay, maybe I'm just sleeping on the Wild. It's hard to keep track of all these damn teams, but forgive me for being a little skeptical for a team that's done this for like a quarter of a century of their existence. The Dallas Stars. I mean, I had her name was Taylor Newby. She covers the Dallas Stars for the Hockey News On. I interviewed her, and it's just like we've gone like Dallas has done everything. Like we went through everything. They're gonna like figure it out. They're gonna be a favorite for a Stanley Cup. The question is like, are they gonna make a big trade though? I asked her that, and she's like, I don't think so. Like being a bit more conservative, like make another trade for like a Max Domi or Chris Tanev, and not necessarily trade a first round pick. Because I was like thinking like, what if Dallas just goes all out? It's like, okay, let's trade a first, maybe a young prospect, and get like a Rasmus Anderson. That would really, I think, tie everything together for Dallas. But at the same time, I don't think they do because they don't necessarily need to do that because they're so deep.
Thanks.
Sorry?
Yeah. No, I was just like, yeah, they're like Logan Stankoven could very well win the Calder Trophy this year if he wanted to. It's like
whoever could have predicted that. Yeah.
No one.
Vegas. Yeah, they're gonna be at the top. I think they're gonna be fighting for first in the division. Really a sleeping giant there. I don't know what more moves they can make to make that team better, but I feel they're gonna trade away like a 2028 first round pick to figure it out. LA 10-6-3. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs. I think I thought they were going to miss the playoffs, but I also, there's a reality where they can make it in on a wild card. I think that's going to happen. Calgary, I think, is going to regress from 10-6-3. The Oilers are going to be better than 10-8-2, and I think the Canucks are better than 9-6-3. Really, the only team on the outside looking in that is in the playoff spot right now is like Colorado. They're 10-9-0. I think they got to figure it out. They went through so much injuries and they've been able to keep their head above water. Like, I think they're going to figure that out.
Yeah. It's a situation with the NHL right now where we're going to start to see the contenders and the pretenders start to separate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of the Pacific Division, like I said, it's wide open. So I'm very curious to see who starts to make that stride and who starts to slip down the rankings a little more. Whether it's Vancouver, Seattle, Anaheim, Edmonton, any of them, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Do you think Nashville makes a run?
Not a chance in hell.
No,
not a chance in hell. That team is a tire fire.
They're barely better than the Blackhawks.
Terrible hockey team. Just, yeah. Not great. Steven Stamkos has 10 points in 19 games. That's all you need to know. He's a minus 13. I don't like plus minus, but when Roman Yossi's a minus 12, there's issues.
Yeah, it's telling when it's that low early on into the season. Yeah.
Yep. Guess he's got a minus 16, Phil Kershev.
The East seems so top heavy because the top three teams in the Atlantic, Florida 12-6-1, Maple Leafs 11-6-2, the Lightning 10-6-1, and then the Metro, Washington's 13-4-1, Carolina's 13-4-0, New Jersey 12-7-2, and then the Rangers are 12-4-1, and then it's just like drop off. Second wild card spot, Islanders are 7-7-5, Bruins 8-9-3.
Boston is tied for a wild card spot, and they fired their coach.
Yeah.
Sucks.
Well, they are 8-9-3. I feel like that's probably why they made the decision now. It's just like, okay, we don't like Montgomery anymore, but like they're right there. If they just get on a winning streak, we're going. Like, that's the perfect time.
Literally, NHL execs when it comes to head coaches is literally the Andy from Toy Story game. I don't want to play with you anymore.
For real.
Throw him in the trash. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Give me the new toy.
Yeah. New shiny toy. But yeah, those are what the standings look like so far. They'll definitely solidify themselves a bit more, and like the games played are kind of all over the place too. Like the Rangers, 17 games played, one less point than the Devils, but the Devils have like 4 more games played than them. So,
little Devils.
Just touching up on some more quick news. The PWHL is geared up for their second season. They've already like made their team names. They've put out the jerseys. And now they're gonna be part of NHL 25, which I think is so freaking cool.
Beat the shit out of people with Saraphilia. Get excited. Get so excited.
And then from what I saw, I forget who posted it, but like they're doing neutral site games. I think they did some last year. I think they did one in Pittsburgh. I can't quite remember. I'm gonna see if I can.
Better do it in Chicago, jerks.
Okay, so this is from Haley Salvian. The PWHL will play in 8 NHL arenas this season. Climate Pledge Arena, Seattle, Rogers Arena, Vancouver, Ball Arena, Denver, Rogers Place, Edmonton, KeyBank Center, Buffalo, Lenovo Center, Raleigh, Little Caesars Arena, Detroit, and then Enterprise Center in St. Louis. So no Chicago, unfortunately. Plus a game at the Videotron Center in Quebec City for
who has it worse than us?
Game. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could see one in Edmonton, which would be cool. I got to figure out when the tickets will.
Who has it worse than me?
I want to go. No one does, bro.
No one ever. Oh my gosh. No, but yeah, I didn't pick a team to root for last year. I was waiting until Saraphilia got drafted. I will be a New York Sirens fan until further notice. Although I was leaning towards Minnesota, if I'm being honest, because like I do like Taylor Heisey a lot, but I mean, like I'm not rooting for Montreal as much as I like MPP. That's not happening.
Can't believe you'd root against my future prime minister like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it just happens like that. But I'm like super pumped to see Saraphilia in the PWHL. Like she's been such a menace at Princeton the last 4 years, and we're gonna get to see her against the best of the best in her sport now. and I think she's going to dominate. I think New York has set up their roster to where she's going to be one of the top contributors on that team, and when you got gals like Sarah Nurse in Toronto and Taylor Heisey in Minnesota, and Spooner in Toronto, like you gotta produce, and I think that's how New York's going to get back on the map because obviously Minnesota was great last year, but
they won. They were, I think, in the championship round, they were down 2-0. The Toronto was up 2-0 in the series, and then Minnesota won 3 straight, as is Toronto hockey. But I know Toronto hockey. Yeah, unfortunately, Spooner got injured, and she was just like on a torrid pace, and that kind of just seemed to take the wind out of Toronto's sails. And then Minnesota went on and won. But
facts, no printer. But I'm pumped, honestly. I really am. I think the growth we're going to see in this league in the next 5 years is going to be paramount, and it's nothing but exciting because it's going to lead to expansion. They're able to sell out arenas, which I don't think the average fan knew. Like, I think you and I both knew they were capable of doing that, especially in the markets that they were trying to implement in. But this is great for the sport. Like, the fact that we don't have to wait 4 years to see Hillary Knight versus MVP anymore. We can see it a couple times a year. The fact that we're going to get to see MPP versus Sarah Fillier, which is basically the equivalent of Crosby versus Bedard. Like, this is exciting times in women's hockey, and I am very much looking forward to see where the season takes us and who's going to be the next big thing in women's hockey. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's going to be Fillier, but this is the time for one of these women to take the reins and just become a household name. And I'm curious to see who it's going to be.
Yeah, so just looking at the dates, it doesn't show the Edmonton one here, so never mind. But yeah, to me, the biggest problem with hockey is the accessibility, whether that's the price or being able to watch the sport and get into it. The price of having to pay to get into it, because hockey equipment is so fucking expensive, and you also have to learn how to skate. There's pretty much 3 different modes of learning how to skate. You got to learn how to skate regularly, and then you got to learn how to skate with a hockey puck, and then you got to there's just so much part to it, and you got to do it when you're young too. It's hard to learn skating when you're a teenager or even an adult. You got to do that when you're young. It's such a niche sport for that reason. But then obviously there's the other part of the accessibility where you gotta be rich. It's very much a sport for white men, so it's hard for other people to get into the sport. And when you see people like Sarah Nurse that are playing the sport of hockey, that just must be such an inspiration for all the young girls out there to do that. And with the PWHL, they've partnered with Canadian Tire, who in Canada is a huge part of trying to make that stuff cheaper for Canadian children to join hockey, and they've streamed games on YouTube. I know you and I don't live in Chicago, but how many it's ridiculous that the Blackhawks their whole TV thing, how that is a workout. Again, I don't live in Chicago, so I don't know what fully is happening, what's going on there, and I think you're out of market too. But it's crazy that the CHSN network or whatever it is hasn't been able to figure that out yet. And
it's one of the worst launches I've ever seen in my life.
How do you get away with that? How?
Because they don't care. They just don't. And I think they're being saved by the fact that the on-ice product sucks right now and the on-court product sucks. Because if either of the Bulls or the Blackhawks were good, it would be 10 times more backlash. But they both stink. And even though they stink, we're back to the dark ages. We're back to 2005.
Oh my God.
It's so exciting.
Late 90s.
Welcome back, Bill Wards. Holy smokes.
Yeah, for real.
Gone but not forgotten. Or almost forgotten.
You killed the man, but not the idea.
It's the work. It's a terrible situation. They're not going to get on YouTube TV. They're not going to get on Xfinity or Comcast. It's a joke. It's a joke. And then they're like, yeah, buy our network for $30. Fuck you. No. You're charging double than what any other streaming service is charging per month for your crappy network that can't even launch properly. Give your head a shake. Jesus Christ.
How was this not figured before the season is what I don't get.
And like we saw the post, like Ben Pope was like, we still haven't heard anything about this, and we are in first week of September. This is very concerning. Like you normally hear stuff by now. I think it's a shame because it looks like the network that Philly and San Jose transferred to worked very well for the local markets. I forget what specific network it is that they're on now because they used to be NBC Sports as well.
Yeah.
So, but they're fine, and you know what's great? The people that live in that city can watch the games. It's a joke. It's a joke. Like they did this with the Cubs a couple years ago. At least Cubs fans could watch the games in Chicago. What a joke. Like, did I say it was a joke? What a joke.
What a joke. What an absolute joke.
You got to be joking me.
I think that was Lindy Ruff who did that. But Chicago is not like isn't the only place that has problems like that. This is like hockey's not the only problem.
Well, this is just cable television trying to hold you hostage as much as they possibly can. And this has been a problem for the last decade in sports, but this is just what they do. Like, dude, when I lived in Chicago, I couldn't watch Bears games on my TV because I didn't have cable.
Crazy.
So I'd have to illegally stream that shit. I have to illegally stream Blackhawk shit in Chicago because it wasn't allowed. They want you to buy cable television. It's a fucking joke, if I'm being 100% honest. And they're going to realize how much money they're going to lose down the line because cable television is dying. It has been dying and it's
been dead. What? Yeah.
It's pathetic. Whatever. I feel bad for all my friends in Chicago and all our friends and all our listeners that can't.
It sucks. So you can't watch the fucking game.
No, dude, it's ridiculous.
Might be a blessing in disguise, if we're being honest.
Listen, honestly, like you didn't have to stay up till 10 o'clock to watch them lose 3-1 or 1 o'clock in the morning to watch them lose to the Kraken like I did. Jesus Christ! Like it's one thing. That's the problem. They don't even have the offensive capabilities to do what they did in 18-19, which is just go full stupid. And full stupid is at least entertaining when you stink.
I would, yeah.
They don't have the capabilities of doing that unless you fucking just unleash Bedard. But like that, even then, Sharks, I don't think that happens. Sorry.
Even like the Sharks have played some entertaining games, and like they're in the same part. Like they're.
You want to know why? Because they have young, exciting forwards on the roster. It's literally celebrating Eklund. Eklund's taking a huge step this year. Zetterland's been good. Freaking Will Smith is like here and there good, but he's getting chances on the ice. Jake Wallman's been exciting for them. Like there's reasons to watch the Sharks. Tyler Toffoli's been good. The reason to watch the Blackhawks right now is like literally the fucking guy poking him with a stick, and it's like do something, and it's everyone with Bedard. Like, and you could feel that in the building. Like I was there against the Red Wings. Anytime he had the puck, everyone's just like, all right, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? And then he gets triple teamed. It's just like, that's an indictment on the team. It's not him.
No,
like Sidney Crosby can't even get off a triple team. Yeah, he's done it before. I'm not saying he hasn't, but like, whatever.
It's easy to game plan when everyone knows like everything is gonna go through Connor Bedard.
Literally, dude.
And like he's the main play driver. Yeah.
And he still gets chances. Like that's not to say he doesn't get chances. He gets for how much he gets smothered, he should not be getting this much offense.
Yeah.
Period. And he is. And I think that just shows how good of a player this kid's gonna be.
That's like another point that people are like, oh, Bedard bust. I was promised a generational talent.
What are we talking about? Oh
God. Like I've seen that. Oh, we should have drafted Mitchkov. Like, are you?
This dude is literally a fucking 5'9" honey badger on the ice. It's fucking insane. He just like his aggression to get the puck on the back check this year has been something that's made me so excited. Because like, let's be honest, last year he didn't do shit in the defensive zone. He's at least taking strides there this year too. Like, yeah, they still give up chances, but I think that's more of an indictment on, or not an indictment, but I think it's more just because Bedard knows the only way they're going to get offense is if he pinches. And listen, it's worked a couple times, so I'm not gonna complain. They need to get a legit playmaker on this team, though. I can't stress this enough.
A play driver, yeah, because they got playmakers. Like they need to get.
Like I don't give a fuck if Mitch Marner wants anything less than 11. If Mitch Marner wants anything less than 11, give it to him. I'm so serious. Like, Mitch Marner solves every single problem with what we want out of Bedard right now. And it's going to allow you to have time to develop your kids because you won't have to throw them into a situation that, like, it's like, all right, your top line left wing, you need to fucking produce a Bedard. Marner's done it. He's done it with every center he's played with. He made Nazar Kadri a fucking 65-point player.
He's doing it without Austin Matthews right now.
Dude, like, I'd take Marner in a heartbeat. Oh, my God.
again, like I
Him
think I
and
said it
Dickinson on the
earlier off
penalty
the
kill. Holy shit.
yes. Marner can do everything. Like he can play make. Like he's not known for being a goal scorer, but that's a guy who can score 30 goals. Yeah, you can put him on the penalty kill. He can do just about everything. And like anyone like, well, he doesn't show up the playoffs, which I think is a valid concern, but also for this
Cool. We need to
franchise,
win
no, it
30
isn't.
games.
You gotta no, you gotta get to the playoffs first. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
Anyways, I like how this got back onto a rant of the, the Blackhawks. But like, yeah, Mikko Rantanen hits free agency. To me, like that's the number one guy. I mean, I would like Mitch Marner. If they got any of those guys, I'd be happy. Even like Nikolai Ehlers, if he was there, I would love that. But I guess we'll see when we get to free agency because the likelihood is probably all of them are extending.
100%.
Back to the pedo. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I mean, yeah, but also like I just don't think the Leafs are going to be able to afford him. And like we could give him the money. That's not the issue. Like they could give Marner 11 mil and they're still going to have 20 mil in cap. Like,
yeah,
whatever. You're right though. Everyone's going to extend and I'm going to be miserable.
Because hockey is boring like that. I mean,
hate
if one of them even made the open market, that'd be a lot of fun.
Sport. Oh goodness. Yeah. Blackhawks hockey. It's exciting. Get electric. Winter Classic jerseys look sick. I will say that. Those officially got announced today.
Point. I wanted to bring it up. Those are hot. Oh,
dude,
that's hot.
This is another reason I want Nazar to be called up because I want to order a Nazar one.
Yes.
I'd like him to play a game in it before I get it. So,
bro, just call up Nazar. Hang on.
Bro, we need Nazar on the roster. ASAP, no Rocky.
Hang on.
What?
Okay, so I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna try something here. I know people Blackburn posted.
Me when I'm gonna try something here.
For real. I'm gonna do what's called a pro gamer move. Can I even do this?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to pull up the Winter Classic jerseys.
This is great content. Let's go.
I know
excited.
this is
Cue the elevator music.
That's what I was trying to do.
Get excited. Clean. I love the old school gloves. God, I wish we still had Fleury because Fleury would probably have the sickest goalie gear for this. I hope Mrazek goes the Fleury route with the gear. Oh my God, I love it. Look at the logo on the pants, dude. That's so clean. And like, God, these jerseys are so nice. These jerseys are actually so nice.
Everything about it is just so hot. I love it.
And it's different, bro. And it's different.
That's what I wanted to say. The most important part, it's not like a retread of their old Winter Classic jerseys. It's like they played the Winter Classic every year. Like all the jerseys just blend together and look the same to me. It's like, oh, we finally had a few years off to figure out a new jersey, and they fucking killed it.
God, I love when they use the old school logo too. Like not like the Indian head old school, but like putting the Chicago Blackhawks around it. Like the 09 Winter Classic is basically what this reminds me of, just in red. And I think it looks clean, honestly. Like the side logos look
so
great.
Fresh. So clean.
Yeah, just needed to say 91 and Nazar on the back now.
Real. Just I love everything about it. I wish I could just marry it.
I am getting this jersey.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it too. These ones I actually like them too. I
do. I just don't like Boston. that was more just because Boston, not the Blues jerseys. I'm a little disappointed on because the Blues usually do really well. Like I don't think those are their best jerseys.
Oh yeah, I'm just going through Pete Blackbird, so like I don't because I know he had though. It's like I don't know where the Blues jerseys are. I would look that up. Blues.
They literally just say St. Louis. Like it's a shame too because St. Louis, like the 2019 Winter Classic uniforms are clean as fuck. Like like those jerseys were so great, and they don't.
These ones here.
Yeah, they don't. Dude,
those are nice. Yeah.
The note on the front, like yeah, dude. Blues have good uniforms, so I was a little disappointed. Usually they go all out, but
yeah. It's not that it's bad. It's just kind of meh. It's just bland.
Me when I moved the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah.
Like these look like Sabres uniforms. Like no lie. Like, just put a 72 and Thompson on the back, and I would not be able to tell the difference. Also, who's their
Or like the
captain?
old
Braden Shen?
Buffalo.
What the fuck?
Yeah. All right, that's enough of that. I think that's really it for the show. We do have some Twitter questions to get into. And this first question is at no. I wanted to finish up the PWHL discussion. No, I completely we went on such a tangent from that. I want to wrap the discussion with the PWHL. Okay, so we went on our huge spiel about like how the NHL is like stuck in the past, or like a lot of the teams are stuck in the past with how they are broadcast on television. PWHL makes it so easy and accessible. You can watch the games on YouTube. I'm pretty sure all of them are archived. They live stream the games. I think they do it on Twitch as well. Very, very easy, very accessible, and the games are super cheap as well. Like, that's what you need to do, man. Like, yeah, you might not be making a lot of money, but the more you get interest, like the more people that can join this league and play in this league, like the better. But no, like let's yeah, it just boggles my mind like how a big market like Chicago can't get like their television like broadcasting figured out. That's so crazy to me.
Yeah, it's a joke. Joke.
What a joke. What an absolute
What a joke.
joke.
That's all I gotta say about that. It's a joke.
And then also one last thing before we get into the Twitter questions. CHL players can play in the NCAA now.
Like in the same season?
Yeah, so the thing is with the NCAA, you can't, because you get paid in the CHL, and if you get like paid, it's like, oh well, you can't go to college hockey, but you could play in like Canada's Juniors League or the USHL. I think that's how it works. But now it's an agreement, like so if you played in the CHL, you
As
can
like
now
16-year-old, you can go to college. Okay, I get it.
yeah. So
Okay.
for like a lot of like I'm pretty sure it was Jack Pridham, like he was playing in the BCHL and he now transferred to a CHL team. And I think he's committed to a college or university, I forget which one, but now he can go play there after he's done playing in the CHL. You couldn't do that before. You could do the opposite where you play in the NCAA and then go to the CHL, but you couldn't do the other way around. If that makes sense.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That makes
But
sense.
now you can do that.
Because that's probably the best route of development for a lot of these guys, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Get a couple years in the CHL, play against 18-year-olds, and then once you get to college, you're playing against 22-year-olds, and then you're ready to go to the AHL or the NHL. I think that's a good development path, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Outside of like, you know, going to a men's league in Europe like Austin Matthews, but guy said nope.
Can all be Austin Matthews, I guess.
Just gonna go to Switzerland, guys. Let's get you next year.
That would have been so nice. Just be like, yeah, I'm playing the USHL. What if I just go like play in Switzerland, live in Switzerland for a year, and then I get drafted first overall? Like, that's the life right there. All right. So we'll get into the Twitter questions here. We kind of talked a bit about it earlier, but I want to go in a bit more in depth with it. So Tate at Joey Anderson fan can't be a Reese Johnson fan anymore. Will Luke Richardson still be the coach at the start of the next season, or do you foresee him being fired during/after the season?
He's not going to get fired unless they win 20 games or less. Sorry.
I don't think he's not getting fired this season. I mean, if they're going to make a move, it would have to be after it would have to be this off season, and because I think his contract was 4 years. This is his third year, so he would have this year and next year. So for me, it's like either I think they just let him play out the contract. I doubt they're going to fire him, but if they do say fire him, I think they have to do it next offseason, and you have to be damn sure like you got a coach, you know, who's going to be better than Luke Richardson. And like as volatile as the coaching position is, it's like, what are the odds you hire another coach who's kind of similar to Luke Richardson, who doesn't have coaching experience, at least head coach experience from before, and you just kind of get the same thing? To me, it's like if you're firing Luke Richardson, you got to have a clear upgrade. You got to have, like, for example, a Jay Woodcroft, since he's still out there, or Vegas goes crazy and fires Bruce Cassidy, and it finally comes full circle like a few years later that the Blackhawks hire Bruce Cassidy. I think that's what you gotta do. That's in my mind. Luke Richardson, I'm not sure if he's gonna be the head coach when this team is contending. I mean, you still have a lot of time to turn things around, but the pressure's starting to get to him. I think he's starting to feel it now. So you gotta figure it out this year, next year, because I just don't think he's gonna get fired. But you never know. You never know what's gonna unfold, especially when it gets to the off season.
Yeah, like I said, I really have to with the way the beat writers talk about it, the leash he has. He's playing out that contract, and if he earns an extension, great. If they go separate ways, I don't think that's any hard feelings because I think, like I said, at the end of the day, he's putting some good defensive values in these young guys, but at the same time, like you said, they're a black hole on both ends. That doesn't develop anything at the end of the day. You're just turning them into the New York Islanders. So,
and look where they are right now.
Oh, they're just so good, right, Pierce? They're just the best team in the league, right? No, wait, they're still bottom 10. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and they don't have Pierre Engvall signed to a 7-year contract. No, I want to look at the Islanders Puckpedia because it is so freaking funny. They have so many freaking old guys. The New York freaking old guys on an island.
I hate when I find old guys on an island. This is the worst. Next, you're going to tell me there's a fisherman there, too. Oh!
Next, you're going to tell me a shrimp fry this rice. Ugh. I would never order a whole piece of myself, but I don't want this food to go to waste.
I cannot believe they did this. This is insane.
And then they did surgery on a grave. Only at Miller Grove. Oh, my God. Did you see Alex from Target? So, oh, my God. I need to look at. So, Pierre Engvall is a UFA in the year of 2030, in the year of our Lord 2030. Scott Mayfield is a UFA in the year 2030. That is so crazy. What other crazy contracts do they have? Bo Horvat is a UFA in the year 2031. Same with Matt Barzal. Holy. And they're so old, they don't have any prospects.
These are so old, I don't have any prospects. Get excited. Actually, they have Cole Eisman, though. That's a good start.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder which pick they picked him with.
I'm so serious. Can we just pluck Matt Barzal and put him on the Blackhawks? I know I've been saying this for over half a decade, but I really do mean it this time because what good does it do to keep him in New York?
I guess you could say he's on an island by himself.
I'm serious. That's another guy I'd trade. If we're below pick 5 this year, I'd trade that for him.
Mm-hmm.
A guy like that or Kachuk or something. Obviously, not everyone would, but listen, it might even work out for us for his trade value drops and we'll trade Toronto's first for him. Get excited. Just kidding. Yeah, the Islanders stink.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
I don't even think they stink. That. I think it's worse. They're mediocre. They're the Wild.
Except they don't have Kirill Kaprizov or Jesper Wallstedt or Brock Faber or all these good players that are young.
Yeah, the Wild are just better. And it shows.
Yep. Shout out Joel Eriksson. He's having a great year. He's a very
gonna win a Selke.
He needs to win a Selke eventually. He's been in that mix for at least 3 years now. Mm-hmm. And if the Wild keep this up, who's to say he shouldn't? Also, Matt Boldy's.
At least be a finalist. Yeah, Matt Boldy's good. This isn't really a question. It's just Boomer saying who wants Ryan Lindgren. Is Lindgren doing that bad?
You want TJ Brody? We can do that.
But we might have to take Keandre Miller as a sweetener.
Yeah, maybe Capo Caco too.
Oh, darn.
But
or maybe we have to get Igor's UFA rights. Oh, darn.
Oh, darn. I did want to say also, they don't produce offense a lot, but I've liked what I've seen from Nolan Allen and Wyatt Kaiser this year.
They're doing their job, which is third pairing defenseman.
Kaiser just needs some puck luck, man, because he gets chances. The way they want to play offense, Kaiser's the defenseman that can do that. Mm-hmm. And he just needs a goal. I think if he gets a goal, he's going to start getting a lot of offense and he'll get some power play time. But no, we got to put Alec Martinez in power play too.
Get excited in the year of our Lord 2024.
And also, like, you're calling me crazy, but like, we should try Pat Maroon and Connor Bedard for a game.
Fuck it, why not? I mean,
give him some space. You know what I mean?
Luke Richardson has done. Yeah, Luke Richardson has done just about everything else. So why not give Pat Maroon a try?
Top line Joe Anderson, top line Pat Maroon. Get fucking.
I mean, he scored 20 goals with Connor McDavid. Let's try with Connor Bedard.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, for like from this moment on now, like it's Frank Nazar watch time now. Like
Frank Nazar should be up by December 1st. I'll go sooner than Christmas. He should be up by December 1st.
Bro, he should be up by American Thanksgiving. Come on,
like he should be up next regulation week. Goals in his last 6 games. Like, come on. And Rockford's got the forward depth. They're not going to get like, yeah, Nazar's been the play driver.
But if that is was out for 4 to 6 weeks, oh no.
That poor guy, dude.
That poor guy.
At least he got the money. At least he got his money.
Yeah. No escrow either. So that'll
Kyle David and your son.
Bro just got sent down to Rockford and fucking died. He scored 2 goals and then fucking died.
Real.
And like not only that down there, Colton Dock is doing well as well. Why not give him a call up? I don't know. Try shit, I guess. Get crazy. Trade those 2nd round picks. Trade those 3rd round picks. Korchinski has looked better as well. I know, like I was watching some highlights and some clips from that game last night. It's like he's doing what makes him Kevin Korchinski. Like he's moving the puck. He looks a lot more confident with the puck. So hopefully we'll see him up sooner.
100%.
All right. Do you got anything else more to add, or we can wrap this puppy up?
I am all good. Let's hope the Blackhawks have won a game by the time we're here next time.
Oh, geez. I mean, they're going to have it so easy by playing the Florida Panthers tomorrow. So, yeah, it to me, like, it's that meme of the bus of, like, the one guy sitting on one side, he's all depressed. One guy sitting on the other side, he's happy. It's like, you can either choose to look at the season as, like, a fail. Like, they're not making the playoffs, but either you can, like, just choose to suck these last however many games, like 60-plus games, or you can view this as an opportunity to get better. That's how I see it. I'm trying to be optimistic Pierce and not #PP pessimistic Pierce. That's how I see it.
PP pessimistic Pierce.
Gonna make that the title of the podcast, just PP.
PP. Yeah, I mean, like, I can see the positives on the team. Like, I think I've said them multiple times. I can see where this season's leading, and it's not going to lead to fun conversations in the offseason. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, to me, like, if this team was run and gun and, like, Bedard had a few more goals,
they can't.
I don't think too many people are, like, not as many people are complaining. Like, yeah, you just even look at the Sharks, like,
Celebrini's has 5 and 13, and no one's saying shit because they're having fun. But
maybe they should have picked Demidov over Celebrini.
Whatever. And also, like, writing off not just turned 19-year-old defenseman in the AHL because he's getting burnt and learning how to play against men. I can't.
Well, he came off of foot surgery. Yeah,
I can't with this fucking fan base, dude. They're so stupid.
That's why I've just stayed off Twitter, and like every time I read Twitter replies, I'm reminded of like, oh yeah, don't go on it. It's just an echo chamber. I don't think the average Blackhawks fan is that irrational.
I know they're getting fed up with the losing. Like, I've talked to the average Blackhawks fans, which is like,
and rightfully so. It fucking sucks losing. Yeah.
Facts. And losing this much. And especially when you're not accustomed to it after the last 15 years. So, you know, gotta get
and your top player is not scoring. Again, rising tide lifts all boats. If Bedard gets going, I think the rest of this team gets going as well. There's still like 6 months till free agency, till the draft. They're gonna get another Elite Four because they're gonna finish at the bottom again. Just long season, but you know, it could
have a good end goal.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got. thank you all for tuning in. Give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform. If you're watching our beautiful face on YouTube, be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, bell notification so you don't miss out on any new content. So, yeah, thank you, Dylan, for coming on and doing the show with me, and we shall talk next week. Peace out, y'all.